Hi everyone, I'm Margaret Arroyo from Humboldt State University, and I'm sorry I couldn't be there with you today in person, but I wanted to share with you a really cool tool that we're using here at Humboldt State University that builds classroom community in online and hybrid environments. And I'm going to show you a tool called Padlet, and if any of you have your computers on during this presentation, feel free to go to Padlet.com and follow along if you want. It's something that's really been useful here for us. So Padlet is a classroom community online gathering space. It's like a community bulletin board. And instructors here have used it for discussions, they've used it for idea sharing, and I'm going to just walk you through it and show you how to use it. So it's free to use. That's a nice thing about it. Also, another advantage is that students don't need to create a Padlet account to use it. So once the instructor creates a wall to put into her or his LMS or link to the wall, once the students double click on it, they can just add content without having to register or log in. So I'm going to start by going to Padlet.com and clicking on Build a Wall. And so our wall is built, and here's what it looks like. It's kind of boring right now, but it won't be for long. You're given this gray background, and all your settings are over here on the right. And I'm going to go over those. So the first thing I'm going to do is just double click anywhere on the wall and show you how it works. So we'll just double click here, and I'm going to write my name here, and I'm going to say something. Hi everyone. And it works a lot like sticky notes on a virtual bulletin board. So if you look here, there's three icons. There's an icon for a student to add a URL to a video or a website. Here's an upload icon to upload a file. You can upload PowerPoint presentations. You can upload Word documents, which they do in a writing class that we have here in order to idea share. Or you can upload a picture. And then the third icon is just a webcam where you can click on and you can create a video on the fly, as you do this. So I'm going to click on Upload File, and I'm going to go get a file. It's got drag and drop technology, which is nice, so I can just go here and drop a picture in there, and here's my posting. And this is visible to everybody who has access to the wall. So I'm going to go ahead and double click again and put in a second posting. And this time I'm going to put in a link to YouTube. So of course I'm going to go down here to this little link icon, and you can either paste or manually type in the link and click on Add, and you'll see that it automatically pulls up the picture that's associated with the link that you are telling it to go to. So that's pretty much how it works. The students go in and they double click and they can put a picture of themselves or their work, and they can share ideas and collaborate. Some instructors have used this as an introductory wall. Others have used it for just idea sharing. So let's spruce it up a bit. I'm going to show you some of the options on the far right under Settings here, and show you how we can customize this wall. The first thing you notice, we don't have a title on our wall, so I'm going to go up here and I'm going to select Title. And what you can do, a lot of people, they just name it the name of their course. And we can give it a title. What some instructors have done in this title is they've created, maybe more than one community wall that they've used using Padlet, and they've used them for discussion forums. So in this case, instead of a title, they might put the discussion forum question here. And then the students go in and they double click and put their responses to the title. But that's how you do a title. You can upload a picture of the instructor here, or you can choose from any of the preset pictures, like the rose, or so there's various pictures you can pick. Another option is the address, which is right here. This will allow you to create your own URL for this board. So a lot of people, what they've done is maybe change the URL to this wall from what's up there, which is kind of a random generated number letter combo thing, to the name of the course. So let's try EDUC 620. That's taken already. Okay, so I'm going to go HSU EDUC 620. And that changes your URL up here. That's nice if you're going to be emailing the URL and you want students to remember it. It's really a moot point if you're going to be embedding it into your LMS. So, but it's kind of a nice feature. Another cool thing over here on the right is wallpaper. So I'm going to select that. And you have about 25 different options of wallpaper that Padlet gives you. One of the most popular is the corkboard here, so I'm going to select that. And there's others that I've seen people use. They like to use the sky a lot. Here's confetti, it's a little bright, but scroll. And I'm just going to put it on corkboard. Another thing you could do if you wanted to, you could upload your own wallpaper. So if you had something specific to the topic, you could do so. I'm going to do that right now by clicking on Add Your Own at the top. And I'm going to select what I want to do. I'm not putting in a link. I'm going to do an upload. So I'm going to click on Upload. And any of your desktop wallpaper type pictures will work beautifully on this community wall. So I'm going to drag and drop one in here. We'll see what that looks like. I'm going to click Submit. And there we go. So you can alter your wallpaper to fit the topic that you're working with on your board. And you can create as many boards as you want to put for various weeks or topics in your online course. So that's how that works. Another thing is the layout. This is new with Padlet. If you look right now, the post-its on the community board are just kind of put wherever anybody opted to double click. There's another feature, and that's freeform right here. There's another feature called Stream, and if I select that, it puts all the postings in order with the most recent post at the top. Some instructors have chosen to use that for discussion forums so that the most recent response is at the top of the community bulletin board. I'm going to go back to freeform. And lastly, I'm going to show you how you can share this board. So we've created this board. We customized it and put some nice wallpaper on the back. I'm going to go here to the Share Export icon. And this is where they give you the embed code if you want to put it in Moodle or another LMS system. And it embeds beautifully. In Moodle, at least, I've embedded it in several Moodle pages. And this is the embed code for that. Down here is a QR code. I put that into the syllabus of one course I was working on, and I'd actually scan it with my mobile phone, and I'm able to pull up the community wall, and I'm able to post with no problem using the QR code. Another thing you can do, here's your wall washer plugin for WordPress if you want to put it into a WordPress document. Up here, students can select to subscribe and get notifications when people post on the wall. You can email, print, share to Facebook or even social media sites. So that is Padlet, and it's just really a cool tool. I'm going to show you. So I'm going to show you some ways other people have been using Padlet. There's some interesting things that people are doing out there. Here's one right here that I'm going to drag over to the screen. That is a class assignment of a timeline, and the instructor chose the parchment wallpaper and had her students go in and contribute to a timeline. Here is a travel bucket list that I found in one of the demo sites that somebody created with the wallpaper of the world behind them, and they just double-clicked and put the name of the place they wanted to visit and a picture of it. This one I thought was kind of interesting. This is a Padlet wall created in the Bay Area that anyone can post on. That is just kind of a community board for sharing restaurants and opinions of restaurants and uploading pictures of food. And here is a hero wall for Hurricane Sandy that a community put up to thank the relief workers of Hurricane Sandy, and it was an open wall. They attached it to the URL sandyheroes.com, and people were able to populate this and express their gratitude for the rescue workers. And finally, here is Padlet being used as a calendar. So obviously they uploaded a wallpaper that contained Monday through Sunday, and they just double-click and they add their to-do lists on there. So that is Padlet. I hope you have as much fun using it as we have here at Humboldt. And there's just lots of different things you can do with it. So thank you for watching my presentation. Hi again, everyone. The presentation you just saw on Padlet was created using Camtasia Relay, which is a tool that we use extensively here at the university for supplementary education. And what it allows you to do is to record your screen, your desktop screen with a PowerPoint or something, as well as to put a picture of yourself in the lower right-hand corner and explaining that. And a lot of our instructors have used Camtasia Relay to create short videos for going over the course or status updates for the class that they put in their middle course. So following is a short little video that tells you more about Camtasia Relay.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the short demonstration on how to use Camtasia Relay. Camtasia Relay is a program we use that will allow you to make recordings of your screen, whether it's a PowerPoint presentation or an online video or an online lecture, and then turn it into a video that you can then share with your students online. So we're going to go ahead and get started by clicking on Camtasia Relay, which brings us to a login screen, and you're going to use your Humboldt login ID and password. You want to be sure and log in as a presenter using your login ID and password, because when you log in as a presenter, you're then given the ability to upload your videos. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Login. And this is the control panel that we get for Camtasia Relay. It's pretty easy to use and pretty straightforward. I'm going to go through everything at the top here. One of the first options you have is audio, and here is where you can work with the audio settings. Most of the time Camtasia Relay will auto-detect your audio settings, which it has here. You can see that it's determined that I have a webcam microphone, and you can see by the bouncing green bar that it's picking up my audio. So these are my other options, but since it's picked up this option, I'm going to go ahead and leave it alone and see how it works. Your next option is display. I happen to have two monitors on my desk. If you only have one, of course, you're only going to get one option. So at this point, I'm going to pick which display I want to use, and I'm going to use this one. My next option is my webcam. So I'm going to select camera. And again, Camtasia Relay will auto-detect what kind of webcam you have attached to your computer. I have two. I have one that is on my laptop, which is shut, which is why this is dark. And I have a webcam that is attached that is sitting on top of my monitor, which I'm going to be using for this demonstration. So I'm going to select this webcam. Before I select it though, this is the time when you want to move it around or check your lighting and just make sure that everything's working okay with your video. So I'm going to go ahead and select this webcam, which then puts my webcam picture down here in the corner of my screen. The next option available to you with Camtasia Relay is the use of hotkeys. So hotkeys are used to start or pause your video or to stop your video. You could click start or stop manually, but a lot of people don't like to drag their mouse across to click stop when they're actually recording their screen. So some people choose to use hotkeys, and you can assign them here. It's just strictly a personal preference. I've opted to use F1 to record and pause my video, and I've opted to use F2 to stop. So that's strictly a personal preference, and you don't have to select anything if you don't want to. You can just manually click on the stop button when you're done. So I'm going to click on OK there. Right here is our recording preview. This gives you an idea of what it's going to look like. In a few minutes, when I actually record the screen, I'm going to be pulling up a PowerPoint video behind me. So this just kind of gives you an idea of the layout of the screen, where your picture is and where your content's going to go behind you. Under presentation details is profile.
So you'll set up your own profiles of where the video goes to, but ours are set up as CPS Distributed Learning Screencast or CPS Distributed Learning YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and select a destination that I want my video to go to.
and then it will be stored up there, and you will receive an email link from whoever you choose, giving you a link to the video that you can then share with your students. If you're not sure what to use, go ahead and click on Upload and decide later. Today I'm going to go ahead and use YouTube. So next I'm going to enter a title for this demonstration and a description. Okay, my next option is to run a test, and when I click on test, I'm going to get a 10-second recording. That's just going to give me an idea of the audio and video. I can make sure it's working okay. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And you get this counter up here, and this is counting down 10 seconds, at which time I can move my cursor around and I can talk and make sure that everything seems to be working okay. Okay. So right now you see everything's frozen because it's waiting for us to play the 10-second test that I just recorded. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and we'll see if the audio and video looks okay. And you get this counter up here, and this is counting down 10 seconds, at which time I can move my cursor around and I can talk and make sure that everything seems to be working okay. Okay, so it seems like our test is good and we're ready to record. I'm going to go ahead and click on close, and that will close out and throw away the 10-second test that we just did that we don't need anymore. So I look down here and I see we're connected to the server, which is a good thing, and we've tested and we're ready to go. So what I'm going to do in a minute is I'm going to click on record, and that's going to give me about 4 or 5 seconds to pull up my PowerPoint presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And we're recording now, and this is the PowerPoint presentation I created for this demonstration. Camtasia Relay is fun and easy to use, and it is. And right now, Camtasia Relay is recording my screen, which is this PowerPoint presentation. I'm manually moving it backwards and forward, and Camtasia is recording my screen. And when you're finished recording the screen, Camtasia Relay will automatically upload your video for you and send you a link to it.
And note that my webcam picture doesn't appear on the lower right-hand corner when I'm making the recording. However, it will appear when the recording is finalized.
So I'm going to go ahead and click on stop, which will stop the recording. And now comes the fun part. Now I'm going to play it back and see if it turned out okay. So let's go ahead and click on play. And we're recording now. And this is the PowerPoint presentation I created for this demonstration. Camtasia Relay is fun and easy to use, and it is. And right now, Camtasia Relay is recording my screen, which is this PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so we recorded the video and it looks good. If you didn't like it, which you probably won't the first few times you do it, you'll want to click on discard and you can start again. When you're happy with your video, you can then click on submit, and what it will do is send it up to the server. It's sending it up to the YouTube server right now, and it will send me a link in a few minutes that I can then share with my students.
A few minutes after you upload your video to either YouTube or Screencast, you'll get an email such as this one, which will tell you that your video is ready to be viewed. And you go into it and you can just click on where it says view under the word link. We opted to upload this video to YouTube, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that.
And then once you've watched your video and you're happy with it, you can then click on share and share it either by using the link or the embed code. And if you're wondering where to get the software, you can just get it off the TechSmith website. We happen to have a site license, so it's free to all of our faculty and staff.
Hello, my name's Kimberly Vincent Layton, and I'm from Humboldt State University. And I'm here to share with you another tool. It's a free web-based tool called Piazza. Now, Piazza is a very robust Q&A platform. It was developed by students at Stanford University. And their goal was they really wanted to create an efficient and interactive way to support class communication beyond that traditional discussion forum. I guess you might say that Piazza is a discussion forum on steroids. Now, I was introduced to Piazza a few years ago by an engineering professor who wanted to try it out because she kind of felt that the typical discussion forum offered in our LMS wasn't robust enough, nor did it have the full capabilities for using the LaTeX mathematical language. So we integrated Piazza into her systems analysis course this past spring, and from day one, students use Piazza for all their course communication in this hybrid course. Now, Piazza is really easy to set up. The basics include putting a link to the Piazza course from your LMS course and then inviting the students via their university email account. But for time's sake here, I'm not going to really include how to set up Piazza because there's really a lot of helpful tutorials and they have a very responsive team. The students at Stanford will respond back to you right away as far as email and help you kind of get going and even give you tips on how to make it more interactive. Instead, what we're going to do today is we're going to look at how Piazza can be used most effectively. And we'll start out with some samples of how we've used it this past semester in Engineering 313. So you can see here that the layout is very similar to Outlook, the email. And there's a left side navigation pane over here. And then if you click on any of the posts in here, you can kind of see that similar threaded conversation with the posts. So again, very familiar. As an instructor, you can post announcements. So it might be that you want to post something about late homework submissions, as the instructor has done here. And so this can be really helpful to students. And anytime there's a post, information is emailed out, and that post is emailed to all the students to let them know. And they can change their subscription and have it sent at different intervals. So if they don't like getting a post every 2 hours, which is an option here, then they can change that and how often they get it. Now, as instructors and students, they can ask questions, they can find answers, they can answer each other's questions, and these can be both either public to the class, so everybody, or it can be private to the instructor or student to student, however you want to do that. So there's a lot of different features. And if you look over here at a lot of the different posts, you'll notice that if you were an instructor and you logged in and you wanted to see, quickly which ones were new and hadn't been answered yet, you can see that those are indicated in the color red. And so that can be helpful as well. So you can see here this instructor posted all the homework. This is how all of this was communicated. And so, and oftentimes there were questions that were asked by a student, so having some trouble with a particular problem, and the student posted it here, and the instructor could mark it as a good question. So if she felt that this would be beneficial for other students to kind of take note of, she would add it and select it as a good question, and then here she provided an answer. So you can see these little icons can be helpful too. So I indicating it was an instructor post, S indicating it was a student response here, and then of course the question mark was indicated it was a question that was being asked. So very helpful in kind of guiding and navigating inside this tool. Now you can see that also job opportunities were posted. This is great because again this extends beyond the traditional classroom and really connecting students with the world, especially in relation to their discipline. Tutoring. So all the tutoring information was set up here and communicated via Piazza, and so this was really a good way for that communication to take place. Now some other useful features of Piazza is we looked at these class statistics. Super helpful. In our LMS, all we can look at is logs, so we can't really figure out how much time a student spent on anything. We can just know that they clicked on a particular activity, but it doesn't give us anything other than that. But in this particular feature, you can see usage trends, and we noted that at certain times during the week, it was typically at the end of a week, there were peaks of posts, and so that was obviously in relation to posting of particular homeworks and maybe even the due date. But we also found that that was kind of the students' workflow. They tended to have more at the ends of these weeks, so that was kind of an interesting find. You can see top student contributors and even, top student askers, whether they were, asking questions. And this was good to indicate, especially if you're doing participation points of any kind, really getting the students, encouraging them to communicate and be part of this discussion. Another thing that you can do, and I'm going to pop over into another course that I created just for a sample, and you can see here that I only have 3 students enrolled, so that was just a test here, but just for fun to kind of see how you could do, because I don't want to log into the other course since it is live. But you can see that you can post polls. So maybe you want to ask your students, what was your muddiest point? What was not clear, so that you can kind of dispel some of those misconceptions that they might have about particular topics or concepts. So in this one, you can see I asked my students, how will you use Piazza this semester? And then you can see the response in here based on who answered, and my 2 colleagues that were my students only gave me a couple answers here, but it was just for testing. But this can be really helpful. Now also going back to what I mentioned earlier, which was I'm going to create a new post so you can kind of see how that LaTeX mathematical language works. So here again, I can select a folder of where I want these particular, this post to go, and a summary. And you can also select whether you want to send it to the entire class or an individual student, and then also the post type. But for the most part here, you can begin typing in here, but if you wanted to use the formulas using the equation editor, you can use these, and that was really helpful because our LaTeX equation editor in our LMS really isn't robust enough to indicate all these different options. And so this was really helpful in this particular course because they were doing a lot of formulas. Now another thing you can do, and there's many more, but just something I wanted to mention, was you can enable group-based discussions, either private for project teams or class sections, or you can have them open so everybody can see. And this is really good because you can set it up so that students can either join the groups themselves, or maybe you set them up and structure it ahead of time. So really helpful in that whole collaborative learning. Piazza has really so many useful features to engage students and keep that communication not only clear but open and collaborative so that you can build a richer class community. Thank you again so much for joining me for a look at Piazza. Our last tool today is Wafidi. Wafidi is a free web-based tool that allows animated real-time messages sent to the screen via either text messaging or the web using other mobile devices. What a great way to engage your students using mobile. So what does Wafidi do? Well, it encourages collaboration, it creates engaging interactive discussions, and best of all, it's anonymous, and so every student will have a voice. Imagine being in your classroom where you might be asking your students how they might understand a particular concept. You have your laptop or maybe your iPad hooked up, and you have the Wafidi screen displayed. Throughout your presentation, you can encourage your students to interact in real time. And another benefit is that other students in the room will see questions and comments and things up on the screen also in real time. So they're watching each other. Now the setup is free. If you use your email account using your EDU, you'll get that automatic EdTech account. And so this allows you a little bit more customization with the Wafidi boards. So creating a new board is pretty easy once you log in. At the bottom of your screen, you'll just see where it says Create New Board. And you'll give it a name, like I've done here, OTC 13, Fun Tools. And you can add Twitter hashtags so that students can actually tweet in their responses as well. And then basically you'll just save the board. And students, what you'll do is you'll invite your students to post. And so if they're texting, they'll use this unique board identifier here. This is the number that they call. And then in the body of their text message, they're going to write @LOCA and then the unique identifier number that's displayed here, and then whatever they're going to text in as an answer to your question. Or you can share the URL, which is down here in the lower right. This gives the people with other mobile devices an option to send things in. Or again, they can tweet via the hashtags that you've assigned to this particular board. So then you invite them to post. Maybe you might actually ask them to, what's your favorite tech tool? And so you'll see messages start coming in bubbles. I'm going to go full screen here so you can look at this. And so each unique sender is going to have an automatic given silly name, which is kind of funny here. So when I text from my phone, I get this apricot lagosta or lagostus. And this is funny. Students love this, and they begin reading everybody's messages. And you'll see as more and more pour in that you're going to get a lot of activity going on. It's very engaging. So I'm going to collapse this and zap the messages here for a moment so we can move on. So I've seen a lot of uses for this so far. I've used it in my face-to-face public speaking course, which I kind of do as more of a hybrid model. So this is really fun. And I've actually used it in a lot of different workshops to engage my participants. And it's better used, obviously, in a live situation, which I'm not able to do with you here today. But here's some other ideas that you might use for your courses. Maybe you might use it for the muddiest point on whatever topic you're talking about that day. Questions, ideas, reflective thoughts, comments. I've used it for brainstorming, so I can kind of get students' sense of prior knowledge and then reveal any types of misconceptions that might happen. You can read off definitions, and students can text in the correct word for the definition. That's fun. And in math, you can use it for reviewing or solving problems, maybe kind of more of like a knowledge check before an actual exam. You can use it for shout outs. I've used it for that as well, kind of giving praise or asking for feedback on specific topics. And then voting. Again, the anonymous feature is great because students can vote and say how they really feel about something. Or when asking very hard or personal questions, this every student has a voice is really important to that because everybody will have access to this. There's many, many, many more ideas that you can use Wafidi for. What can you think of? Thank you again for joining us today for another grab bag of technology tools that can be fun and engaging.